Hi, Leslie, and welcome back to our channel where we chat all things about how to really relax into the most loving and confident woman that God has called you to be. Tonight, we are talking about 4 ways to really glow up, to really evolve and level up as a woman. Now, full disclaimer, what we're talking about here are 4 character traits because there is no type of level up like the level up of your spirit, okay? That's when the real radiance and the true glow up happen. So let's go ahead and get into the first one, which is having open arms to the trait of forgiveness, okay? The trait of forgiveness. Now, I know we say a lot that forgiveness is for you just as much as it is for the other person, and I completely agree with that. I love analogies, and so I want to paint a little bit of an analogy for you here, okay? So let's say you've been around in this world doing life 20, 30, 40 years, right? Or even longer. Whether you want to admit it or not, you have picked up some things along the way that it is time for you to release, okay? And I want you to think about every challenging, negative outcome, experience, viewpoint, belief, relationship as a little stone, okay? And even though you are able to still continue and do life, you are constantly adding these stones, this weight to your load. Without realizing it, you are lugging around. You've been lugging around these stones for years, okay? So forgiveness really is stopping and making a conscious choice that you will no longer carry these stones, carry this weight around. And stone by stone, you release every little bit of unforgiveness, every grudge, all of that tethering, right? That tie that you've made to yourself and that challenging experience, outcome, relationship, trauma, and you make a choice to let it go, okay? Because really what happens when you're in a spirit of unforgiveness is you are continuing to tether yourself to the past or past experience or whatever someone said about you, and you therefore are not allowing yourself to become new. You're not even allowing the other person to become new because you are maintaining the same belief that you have around that person or that thing, okay? And so really forgiveness is an act of liberation. And as you forgive more and more, you'll find yourself having this lightness about you, this spring in your step, and this ability to move through life with fluidity and joy and freedom, okay? So forgiveness is the first step in leveling up as a woman, becoming a more radiant and free woman. So the second way to level up is to really lean into the trait of humility, okay? The trait of humility. And I want to be really clear here because social media has made it seem impossible for us to be humble as people. It's so remarkable to me because I get it. You're on the defense because you don't want to be humbled. When I say humility, I am talking about you not being humbled by a man or someone else, you having a posture of humility because you know darn well that you have not figured out life. You know that you are not perfect by any means, and you know without a doubt that you absolutely need help. There is space and room for you to grow and evolve. And so just like forgiveness, humility is a very freeing character trait. It allows you to move through life with this posture of welcoming support, of welcoming new learnings, of being able to see the area that you have to grow in, right? So it's really not about being humbled. It's about being humble, if that makes sense, okay? Not because you're not the beautiful, radiant, God-fearing woman that you are, but because you are those things and you know a lot of other things as well where you have room to grow in if you're being honest, if we can be honest with ourselves, all right? So humility is one of those traits that for me, it just births so many other beautiful traits and experiences. Humility beautifully births forgiveness and understanding and patience and all the things. And it births absolutely one of my favorite character traits, which is the third one that we're going to talk about tonight, the character trait of having the ability to love, okay? Now, I'm not just talking about love in its conditional or very mechanical way. I am talking about having the trait as a woman of unconditional love, okay? Unconditional love. And before you scroll off, because I completely understand the fear that we have as people around this, okay? I want to provide another perspective to you for a moment. So, your ability to have unconditional love is not really about another person, okay? What it's about is you. It's about you and what you're able to access as a person and as a woman. Hear me out for a second. Each of us are made in God's image, and each of us, because he is so good to us, have access, have a relationship to him. And if you don't know it, you're going to find out right now, okay? God is love. God is the source of love, which means that because we're connected to him, we have no bound to our love. We have no bound to the amount of love that we can give this world. We have no shortage of love. And so if you're someone who's moving through life, making conditions for who you love and why you treat people the way you do, I want you to stop that. That is a fear-based way of living. You can give your love generously because your love will never, ever be depleted, okay? You can always access more love, even if you go through things that are challenging and break you down for a moment and make you doubt yourself. Trust me, that season won't last forever. That season and spirit of sadness and loneliness and questioning and doubt will not last forever, because you will very soon always be able to replenish yourself with God's love. So many of us are moving about this world with conditional thinking, conditional love, conditional kindness, and all these things. And then we wonder why we feel lonely, isolated, confused, unloving, unloved. I want you to get out of this belief that everything has to be proven to you for you to give yourself in an open, generous way, okay? Being unconditional in your love is about you and what you're able to access, which is God's unending love. Let me add a little bit of parameters here, because I can feel people give me the side eye. When we talk about unconditional love, what I am not saying is unconditional access to you or unconditional ability to abuse you or mistreat you or talk down to you. No, that's not what it is. Unconditional love is your posture, okay? It is the way that you are in your experiences. It has nothing to do with another person and you giving them unending access. It's the posture, it's the energy, it's the respect, the empathy, the kindness that you bring, okay? It's not this transaction. I'm actually trying to move us away from this transactional tick for tack, earning love, having to prove your love and this or that. I want you just to rest and become and lean into the experience of being unconditional love, okay? And as you do so, I promise you, those around you, things will start to shift. Things will start to feel different for you. You'll start to feel more loved. Any woman knows that you want more love in your life. You have to begin to open yourself up to more love, okay? So a little bit of a tangent there, but I am so passionate. And this has been probably one of the biggest areas that God has worked on in my spirit, because I had always admitted, and it's something I'm honest about, is that I felt like, I had never been in love before romantically, right? And finally I had to realize and be honest with myself that was a me thing, right? That I was not being in the experience of love, and therefore I could not rest into romantic love or that type of, being in love with someone. And so, yeah, it's something that I really want you to reflect on and ask yourself, how can you stop resisting love, and how can you allow yourself to relax into love and allow that to show up in your friendships, relationship, and all the things. And the fourth character trait to really level up as a woman is the trait of leaning into your joy, okay? Leaning into your joy. Stop resisting being joyful. I know life sometimes is life, right? We have the wanted consequences and the unwanted, the expected, the unexpected, the ideal, the unideal. I get it, okay? But when you are able to still find the joy throughout your life, to know that you are still here, and to still be in a posture of hopefulness, of knowing life will always be on your side, that God is always on your side, that is truly when you will build up your joy. Call it like your joy tank, okay? You look for joy, you have a joyful posture, and before you know it, you really are in a spirit of joy. People are like, how does this woman do it? She's had this happen, this happen, this happen. And the list goes on what will happen, what you'll encounter in this life. And still, don't ever allow that to take your joy. Joyfulness, just like love and forgiveness, is a skill. Learning to see the joy and maintain your joy is a skill. Some of the most joyful people I have ever met have gone through some of the most indescribable, painful experiences. And I look at that with so much admiration and honor and just amazement, right? Because I know the work that goes into that level of what I call integrity and being steadfast and being a steward of your heart and of your mind. And that really is what I would describe joyfulness of. It's being protected, not in a guardful way, but allowing yourself to be really conscious of what stories you allow, what narrative you allow, just because of what you've gone through. So those are my 4 ways to level up. Again, those were forgiveness, humility, unconditional love, and being joyful. I hope they help you. I hope you find ways to authentically lean into these for you as a woman. Test a few out, right? Try a few out and let me know how it goes for you. I'll see you in the next video.